Every time that you're on, I realize how many times you appear in the intro, and it always makes me laugh.
Hey
But
man, repeating character.
exactly, yeah. You're the oh man. Do you watch Seinfeld?
Occasionally.
Occasionally. I'm trying to think of like a good a good Seinfeld character that would represent you. I'll put a pin in that and come back to it. Welcome to the Pump Fake, everybody. Jared Bailey, joined by my good friend from SB Nation, JP Acosta. What's up, buddy?
Nothing much. I'm glad football's back. I was
Me
very
too.
much like we were in a funk there for a little bit with no football and everybody spouting the worst takes of all time. But now we're back and actual football is going to be played.
Yeah, a lot of people. Never myself though. I mean, I'm
Oh,
undefeated.
never, not at
I'm
all.
undefeated when it comes to good takes. Yeah, never had a bad take. Yeah, it's that time of year where like now we have to like put our names on takes and predictions and stuff like that. So you and I are gonna do that today. AFC, NFC, playoff predictions, and then as JP and I do every time we do a show together, we'll do a draft. Today we're going to be drafting cartoons. So enjoy that at the end of the show. So we'll start in the AFC though. We'll go division by division, present our winners, and then scoot back around for our wild cards. That sound good?
Perfect.
Lovely. All right. So we'll start in the AFC North and then just kind of go around the compass and go north, east, southwest. So in the north, my winner, the Cincinnati Bengals. I think when completely healthy, they're probably the most complete team as of right now. Burrow coming off the wrist injury seems like everything's all systems go there. And I've said it a lot throughout the offseason. With them, it just feels like, all right, this is kind of like the last rodeo for this group as a whole. T. Higgins probably going to be gone in 2025. Joe Mixon's already gone. They brought back Von Bell. They bring in Geno Stone. Defensively, I think that they get a little bit slept on. I know that they lost, DJ Reader, but Lou Anarumo's still there. Yeah, I think overall they're the best team in the division as long as they stay healthy and their stars stay healthy. They're my favorite to win the North.
I can get with the Bengals team winning the North. My biggest issue is that they might have the worst run defense in football.
Mm.
They, of course, losing DJ Reader hurts.
Yeah.
But they didn't really find a guy to replace him. I like Chris Jenkins, but he's more of a 3-tech. He's not going to stop the run from the nose. Sheldon Rankins is also a 3-tech. So it's kind of like they're building the boat out of 3-techs and BJ Hill, which, again, is going to take an effect on the linebackers. I think San Francisco has kind of clouded what how we see like true 4-3 defense and playing with those kind of bodies up front. They built that boat out of 3-techs and Fred Warner. And not everybody has Fred Warner. So I would like to see them defend the run first before we get to any of the passing defense. And then offensively, I think my biggest question is if Joe Burrow is actually willing to go under center. I think that unlocked so much more of their offense that I think he has I don't want to say been unwilling to do, but towards the beginning of last season, they tried to get to it, and then Joe Burrow got hurt, and then he never wanted to do it again. But watching Jake Browning operate that offense from under center, you could blend the run and the pass more. You can make things easier for your quarterback. So I want to see them do that a little more, a little better going into this season. I've had a lot of trouble picking the NFC North because all these teams are good, but all of them have major flaws. So I'm going to go chalk here. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I think
Stunning.
Lamar Jackson is still a fantastic quarterback. I think what he did last season while having rotating guys at both tackle spots is one of the most underrated aspects of his MVP season last year. I know they're facing a lot of the brain drain defensively after losing Mike McDonald, but Zach Orr has been under McDonald for the last couple of seasons, been instrumental in getting Patrick Queen to play a lot better. So I'm excited to see how that defense looks and if they can generate pass rush. But, man, that offense, another year under Todd Monken, adding Derrick Henry to the fold where, I don't think he's going to be a 20-carry guy like he used to be, but now you have that efficient thunder to Lamar Jackson's lightning. Then you add in Keaton Mitchell when he gets back off the PUP list. And you know what, man? I really think the Ravens have a good shot to do it again.
The only thing that worries me, I am excited about Keaton Mitchell. The only thing that worries me about Baltimore is the turnover. Lost a lot of pieces up front. And then defensively, I mean, you touched on Mike McDonald now in Seattle. They lose Patrick Quinn. They lose Geno Stone. They lose a bunch of different role guys like Jadeveon Clowney along the defense. But you still have Matabike. You still got Kyle Hamilton. So Roquan Smith still there as well. So I think that they're still going to be a formidable unit. But offensively, like, I still worry about, okay, you got Zay Flowers. That's cool. You're going to be really relying on Rashad Bateman to stay healthy. You're going to be really relying on rookie Devontae Walker to, really be a difference maker in the pass game. So that's really like my setbacks with Baltimore. And, fair or not, like, is Lamar going to stay healthy again for a full 17-game slate? That will be a big part of it as well. But understandable why, people would be high on them after the year that they had last year.
Yeah, I think the passing game is going to be another question mark, especially at receiver. But with the way Todd Monken enjoys using 12 personnel, did it a lot at Georgia, got into it a little bit in Baltimore last year. I think you're going to see huge seasons from Isaiah Likely and hopefully, if he's healthy, Mark Andrews. And that'll kind of supplant the lack of a true outside threat because you can just beat teams over the head with the run game and 12 personnel, which is actually kind of coming back into the NFL because teams are lighter and getting smaller. So you might as well just punch them in the face.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing more teams using like nickel and dime as basically their base. So the best way to counter that is, all right, let's just get heavier. So I agree with you on that front.
Everybody wants to play their 205-pound nickel in the box until a 330-pound guard is wrapping on a counter, and now you have to actually play the run.
Fair enough. All right, let's move to the AFC East. It's not going to be a shock to you or anybody who has followed me for a long time who I'm picking to win this division. It's still going to be the fighting Josh Allen's up in Buffalo that I am picking. I know a lot of people have talked about, I just talked about Baltimore's turnover. There's a lot of turnover offensively for Buffalo. 5 new receivers, or I guess 4. They kept 5 receivers. 4 of them are new. Khalil Shakir is the only one returning from a year ago. Joe Brady in the offense is something that I am excited for. I did like a really in-depth piece on why Joe Brady was the perfect hire and why he saved their season last year. They're leaning more into the run game and giving the ball to James Cook. And it's, you and I have talked about this plenty. They're taking a page out of Kansas City's playbook from when they traded Tyreek Hill. It's okay. We're not, just going to live and die on the deep balls. It's going to be a more efficient offense while still having that aspect as part of the offense. But they aren't going to be an offense that's going to live and die off of, cannonball shots to the face when there's layups underneath that are available. And I think that that's going to be a big part of the offense is, okay, let's take the layups and let's, articulate the ball down the field rather than, all right, it's bombs away or nothing. So I have faith in Joe Brady in the offense. I have faith in the run game and leaning into Josh Allen more as a runner, which they did more so in the second half of last year. Defensively, not having Matt Milano again for the foreseeable future, that sucks. And it's going to be, that's a big loss. I do think having Terrell Bernard there, though, as well in the middle will be a big help. They were missing him in the playoffs last year against Kansas City. Roswell Douglas, Christian Benford, they're a formidable cornerback tandem. A lot of turnover at safety. Regardless of all of that, I believe in Josh Allen. I believe in Joe Brady. I believe in Sean McDermott. And I think the Bills still win the AFC East.
So I'm going to agree with you and say the Bills will win the AFC East, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are going to believe.
It was very close last year. It came down to week 18.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the final week once again. I am picking the Bills largely because I know what they're going to be.
Yeah,
they're going to try, like you said, to hit teams in the face. I think last year under Ken Dorsey, gosh, I can't believe I almost forgot his name. Ken Dorsey, they were a little bit more of a finesse team, a lot more outside zone, maybe some inside zone. Joe Brady, they were hitting people with counter. They're hitting people with duo. They're going to use Josh Allen. I think they're going to try and continue to do that in the run game. And then they're going to try and be more efficient underneath to kind of mitigate that. They were starting to see the same stuff the Chiefs were with all the too high shells and eliminating all the explosive plays. So now they're just going to try and take teams out of those too high shells by running the freaking ball. And I can get behind that every time. I think it's going to be closer because I think the Dolphins defense is going to be really good this year. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. Of course, Miami can generate offense through the first few games of the season, unlike anybody else. I'm curious to see if they can remain healthy down the stretch of the season, because the offense falling apart coincides at the same time that the offensive line falls apart.
Yeah.
So I hope they can stay healthy over the course of the season, and Mike McDaniel can continue to adapt through over the course of the season. Because as much as the cool shit gets thrown out week one, like, we're going to see some really inventive, creative stuff from the Dolphins week one. We always do.
Yeah.
But it's about how you can dress that up and do the same stuff in like week 12. Now that everybody's got the tape on it. So I wonder how they're going to do with that. The Jets are going to be, I don't know. I think the Jets are going to be good, but this can all fall apart very quickly. It can go to shit very quickly.
I've said the same thing, man. Like, I can see that being a team that wins 10, 11 games as a playoff team. Everything's good. Everybody's, singing Kumbaya and all that. Or they're going to be like 2-6 by week 8, and Rodgers is going to be on Rogan talking about how, like, the government hides listening devices in cashews or some shit. And we're all going to be like, oh, wow, this really went well. And Woody Johnson can't do anything about it because, they've really banked their future and at least their immediate future on Aaron Rodgers being good. So I will have more on the Jets later. That's kind of a giving away what one of my wildcard teams is going to be begrudgingly. But we'll probably circle back to them. In terms of the Bills, though, I do want to point this out. I think the game against Dallas last year was kind of like the extreme side of running the ball, where they showed like, hey, if we can run the ball, Josh Allen threw the ball 15 times that game, and they just hammered Dallas on inside run. So I think that was kind of a sneak peek into what they would like to do a little bit more of going forward. But to your division with your Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC South, it was a toss-up for me. I think that this is one that comes down very late as well. I am going to lean Houston, though, and pick the Texans to win the division again. Everything that C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans did in year one together, it still blows my mind that they took that team that just had this long-lasting black cloud over them from the Deshaun Watson situation, and then going through head coach after head coach. It was just bad vibes in Houston for like 3 years. And then immediately that quarterback, that head coach come in, win the division, win a playoff game. And now you add Stephon Diggs to go along with Nico Collins and Tank Dell. I think defensively they're going to be better as well, adding Danielle Hunter to go next to Will Anderson. I'm excited to see what they can do on both sides of the ball. Obviously, the offense is going to get, the vast majority of the attention, but I think defensively they're a little bit underrated coming into this year. So Houston in the AFC South for me.
So for the sake of not agreeing on everything and making this the least interesting podcast ever, a little bit of the pushback I've had with Houston is just regression. I think with C.J. Stroud being so good throwing the ball downfield while also keeping the ball out of harm's way, some of those have to turn into interceptions, right?
I was going to say, he only threw, 5 picks last year, and he was just continually
he led the NFL touchdown interception ratio. Some of that has to turn into interceptions or incompletions, right?
Right.
It's really grasping at straws here. I think the true thing that will hold back the Texans offense is if they cannot run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't run the ball again, then teams like the Ravens did last year in the playoffs, we can stop the run with 6 people and put more people back to defend the pass. That is the biggest reason why, when coaches and teams say stop the run, it's not just because they think running the ball matters the most. It's because if you can stop the run with 6 people, then you can put everybody else in coverage. If you can play and defend the run well out of light boxes, you can devote more numbers to the pass, and then you force the offense to compete against you at your game. So I think if they're not able to if they're not able to run the ball effectively enough to get teams out of too high shells, I think they'll face a little bit of regression. But again, it's really grasping the straws. Again, for the sake of not making this the least interesting podcast ever, I'm going to Jaguars, and I promise I'm not being a homer, but I really do think this offense is going to look much different from last year, and they are going to try and blow the roof off of teams. I think they're going to let Trevor Lawrence throw the ball downfield a whole lot more. I think They went into this offseason thinking if they could fix the offensive line, then Trevor Lawrence would be able to throw the ball downfield. And they fixed the one problem. They went and added Mitch Morse, got rid of Luke Fortner, and let's see how it goes. I think the defense is also going to be better in a better scheme that fits the players more. You've seen Trayvon Walker absolutely dominate this preseason. Of course, it's preseason, probably playing against backups, but still, it's a positive sign. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars just because they are the second most talented team in the division. If they don't make the playoffs, then it's considered like we have to ask some serious questions.
I assume that we both have the same winner in the AFC West in Kansas City. There's not much.
I didn't know that.
There's not much. And not much that either of us can say that hasn't already been said a billion times and 7 times over. When it comes to Kansas City, they're going to run that division. They won 3 Super Bowls, trying to become the first team in history to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. Something Taylor Swift. Is that about right?
Yep, sounds good to me.
All right, cool. Wild card team time in the AFC. I have your Jaguars at the top wild card team. I love Jacksonville. I feel like the discourse around Trevor Lawrence this offseason has been very stupid. He is awesome. And the Jaguars were 8-3 last year before he got hurt. And the only problem with that is that Jacksonville needed him to be Superman, but he was just beat to hell. And you touched on the fact that the offensive line was a big issue. As a part of that, they bring in Mitch Morse, a veteran from Buffalo. And they're very clearly leaning into what they already did well, which is let Trevor uncork it downfield. That's why you go get a Gabe Davis, who's one of the better deep ball guys in football. You draft Brian Thomas, and that allows Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram to operate underneath. Defensively, I love the hire of Ryan Nielsen. I think that is going to be a night and day. I think it's going to be a similar effect as to what Brian Flores was to Minnesota when they fired Ed Donatel and brought him in. Obviously, different schemes and whatnot, but in terms of the effect that he'll have, I think that Nielsen's going to do great in Jacksonville. Jacksonville, 11-6, the top wild card spot, number 5 seed in the AFC.
So, I actually think the interesting thing about adding Gabe Davis's offense is he's not going to be the downfield deep target guy. That's going to be Brian Thomas Jr. and Evan Ingram. Where Gabe Davis is going to win in the Jaguars offense is on the deep passes over the middle. Because I think they see him outside of what the Bills turned him into as a deep threat. I think he ran like a 4.55 or something. He's a big dude.
He's big.
He is going to be the guy who runs those targets over the middle, takes in those intermediate targets, and allows Christian Kirk to kind of operate by himself in a little more of a slot. You can scheme up touches for Christian Kirk. And then I honestly think Evan Ingram's going to have a huge year this year. I mean, he did last year, but you're going to see him run a lot more downfield targets. You're going to see a lot more of what we think Evan Ingram is in terms of route distribution and route percentages. Brian Thomas Jr., I think he might start slow, but the dude can go. He is legit. He is a legit
flashes, especially against Kansas City in the preseason, where he had that nice catch downfield, and you can see Trev on the sideline going berserk, and everybody's like, "All right, yeah, we might have somebody here."
Yeah, he is legit. I think he is going to give this team an element with speed and downfield, like just his acceleration and ability to tilt the field offensively is something the Jaguars have not had in a long time. So he's going to be a huge part of this offense. And yeah, I think the defense is going to play a lot better. So I can 100% get behind the Jaguars making the playoffs this year. My 5 is the Texans, kind of for the same reason you said for the Texans win is the Texans making the playoffs.
Fair enough. My number 6, and I touched on this earlier. I don't want to pick them, but going through game by game for every team and picking, I was like, all right, well, I think the Jets will win that one. Jets should win that one. Oh no, the Jets should also win that one. I'm just like, all right, I'm going to assume, and maybe that's a horrible thing to do, but like eventually you'd think that the Jets got to get something right. And eventually it's got to come all together. And maybe this is the year where it finally does with that really good defense that's been good for so long. And if Aaron Rodgers, they don't need him to be, top 3 quarterback, 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers. They just need him to be like top 12 quarterback Aaron Rodgers. That would be perfectly fine. And I think he can do that. Got a little bit better up front over the offseason. I mean, that was their biggest issue. The offensive line stunk, and they're, that's what ultimately led to Rodgers getting hurt in week 1. Add Mike Williams as like a deep threat outside to complement Garrett Wilson. Hopefully he can stay healthy long term. Draft Malachi Corley. I'm really banking on Rodgers staying healthy, the offensive line being good. But if those things come together, I do think the Jets will be a playoff team. They're my 6th seed. I'm crossing my fingers. It might blow up in my face, but I will go with the Jets.
I think my biggest question with Aaron Rodgers is, we can just say he doesn't have to be MVP Aaron Rodgers. He just has to be top 12 Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. The last time he played football, he was not top 12 Aaron Rodgers. He was more top 23 or something. And is that going to be good enough for them not only to make the playoffs, but to get to what they want to be?
I can't remember who I saw say it, but somebody pointed out, and forgive me, whoever it is, but Patrick Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls since Aaron Rodgers' last 300-yard passing game.
Yeah, like I think the last time he played a full season, he I think he was 22nd or 23rd in EPA per play. I'm going back and looking right now.
It was last year in Green Bay, right? Where it was just kind of like mid.
Yeah, he was 21st in adjusted EPA per play and success rate. Like that's not what we expect from a full season of Aaron Rodgers. If that's going to be the guy we get, I don't know. But they should have the best defense in the league. So like that'll carry them the first portion of the season.
All right. Now, who is your number 6?
My number 6 is the Miami Dolphins. I am a huge believer in Anthony Weaver, which is a preview of Established Fun, which is coming back this season. Preview of Established Fun. Anthony Weaver, I think he is the first branch of the Mike McDonald tree, and he can scheme up some pressures. He can scheme up some blitzes. I think this is going to work so well with the Dolphins' talent on defense in a better way that Vic Fangio really could not get through to the Dolphins last year. And then I just think that offense is going to melt faces again, but I would love to see them improve in short yardage. That's why I have them as maybe a 6 seed and not winning the division. Like when we get down to those moments in October, November, December playoff time, and it's 3rd and 2, you need to be able to get those short yards. I don't know if they haven't been able to do that ever since Mike McDaniel got to Miami. They have not been able to win in short yardage situations. It's the weirdest thing ever. They can get 40 yards, but they cannot get 2 yards. Like it's so funny to me. But I still think they're going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be very good. And, now it's about winning a game in the playoffs.
All right. Well, I'll spoil it for you. I do not have Miami in the playoffs this year. I think that I still have them with a winning record. I do think that if I had the Jets and the Bills, I think that that's just going to be a product of getting eaten alive within a good division. And, somebody's got to be out. Man, I might regret this one too, because I'm picking with my heart more than I'm picking with my head. I'll have the Steelers as 7 seed again, JP Acosta. Why the hell not? Let's do it.
Oh, no. Oh, boy.
All right.
You keep falling for this narcotic, and I hope it goes well for you.
I do too. The last couple years have been not fun for me. I think that they'll be slightly more fun this year. Being at OTAs and minicamp and seeing Arthur Smith with the offense, I think that it's just going to be better by default because Matt Canada was so horrible. I think that the quarterback situation will be better just by default because Kenny Pickett was so horrible. Regardless of what you think about Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, whatever the hell you may think, I think they're better than Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. So with that in mind, the defense is still very good. I love the fact that they add Patrick Queen. They draft Peyton Wilson to give them a lot of talent in the middle of the defense to go along with Landon Roberts. Joey Porter Jr. looks like a star in the making on the outside. Micah Fitzpatrick, hopefully he can stay healthy this year. Missed 7 games last year with a few nagging injuries. But I think that largely it'll be somewhat similar to what we've seen, just with the offense being a little bit better. So they're still going to be, a defense first team, and that obviously limits what they can do if and when they do get into the playoffs. But Do I think that they can replicate their win total from last year with better quarterbacks, better offensive coordinator, and a defense that hopefully won't be riddled by injuries like they were last year? Yes, I do. So they won 10 games last year. I think they'll do it again this year, get the 7 seed, and we'll see what happens from there, JP. Tony Romo noises. I don't know, Jim. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not as excited as you for this Pittsburgh Steelers team. I hope it goes well, but man, I know it's preseason football, but still some of the things that I saw from Justin Fields, he is the same quarterback that he was in Chicago, which is he is always going to be a second late. He's always going to be a tick late on something. It works because he's one of the best athletes on the field.
Yeah.
But my biggest question is for whichever quarterback starts, is the offensive line going to be functional to the point where they can run the ball effectively and not allow Fields or Wilson to screw this up for them?
Yeah,
if
they can't run the ball, it's Jover. Then we'll have real problems.
Yeah, I do not know what they have done with Broderick Jones. I think they have
JP.
They have completely messed up his development as a left tackle who needed reps. They brought him into the Steelers and then moved him to right tackle. They moved him back to left tackle. They moved him back to right tackle. So just great way to develop a player.
Yep.
I think Zach Frazier and Mason McCormick are very good. Zach Frazier has been awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
He's been awesome. So I think that's a great piece in the middle. But man, I am worried about the offensive line's continuity. The biggest thing, the continuity and their ability to execute. And if they cannot execute, the run game falters. And if the run game falters, you can't start Russell Wilson. You can't start Russ behind that offensive line because he and Justin Fields are similar players at different stages of their careers. They both are a little bit late in the short area and the processing and in the pocket. But where Justin Fields can excel now is what Russell Wilson excelled at in 2016.
Yeah.
But the problem is 2016 was 8 years ago. It's that line from The Wire. The thing about the old days, in the old days, you can't do the same stuff anymore.
Right.
So I wonder how long Wilson's rope is before they yank him for Fields. And if they do, how high is that ceiling? I don't know. I'm not picking the Steelers to make the playoffs, but they are going to be a very tough out, as always.
Yes. Who is your final AFC playoff team?
So, before the season, my biggest take was that the AFC South gets 3 teams into the playoffs.
Oh, my.
I am not backing off of that. Give me the Indianapolis Colts. I'm still a believer in Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
I think he needs the reps, but watching this offense run with him last year in the regular season, the run game was so much more dynamic, explosive. You had Jonathan Taylor to that, and now you just have a powder keg of explosive runs and misdirection where you can't focus all your attention on Jonathan Taylor, who led the NFL in rushing a couple of years ago, because you have a 6'5", 250-pound gazelle playing quarterback. I think the passing game is going to come along slowly, but it'll get effective as the season comes along because, again, Anthony Richardson just needs the reps. And very quietly, they have rebuilt that offensive line quickly. They are good again. I think Bernard Raymond is going to be a breakout candidate this year. Quentin Nelson is still one of the best players. Ryan Kelly had a great bounce-back year. I really think that the Colts' offense is going to be really fun. And the defense, I was surprised by Gus Bradley last year. I thought he would live and die by country cover 3. They switched it up. I think their defensive line is awesome. Like just a whole group of ass kickers up front. Zaire Franklin is incredible to watch in the middle of that defense. Kenny Moore is really fun. I think they need another corner opposite Juju Brents. But I think whoever doesn't win the division in the AFC South, those other 2 teams are going to be fighting for a playoff spot.
I do like the pick. I think that at minimum, Indy is going to be in the playoff hunt throughout the year up until the end of the year. They didn't make my playoff picture, obviously. but still going to be a fun as hell team to watch this year. So my AFC is the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills, the Texans, 1-4. Wild card is the Jaguars, the Jets, God help me, and the Steelers, God help me a little bit more, at 6 and 7. And yours is?
Mine is the Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Jaguars, then the Texans, Dolphins, Colts.
Lovely. All right.
Just an incredible quarterbacking in the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
That's gonna be awesome.
To the NFC, we'll start in the NFC North. I'll give it away right now. My number 1 seed in the NFC is going to be the Green Bay Packers. I think that they are going to be awesome. Offensively, I think that Matt LaFleur might be the most underrated coach in football. And seeing what Jordan Love did last year, second in the NFL in touchdown passes in his first year as a starter, and he didn't really get going consistently until like week 10. So with Love and those 4, they got like the Ninja Turtles at receiver, where they don't have like an A, but they got like 4 like Bs that are all like really good at different aspects of the game. So I love Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson. They got 2 really good tight ends. Looking forward to seeing what Josh Jacobs looks like in this offense. Defensively, I think it's a similar situation where I think they'll just get better by default because Joe Barry's no longer there. They brought over Xavier McKinney and gave him a nice chunk of change to help out at safety. So love what Green Bay has to offer. I think that Jordan Love, he's my MVP pick as well. I love what Green Bay is offering right now, and I think they are going to be winners of the NFC North and the number 1 seed in the NFC this year.
I really like what the Packers did defensively, and it starts with bringing in Jeff Hafley, mainly because last year the Packers had a bunch of 1-gap personnel for a 2-gap defense. You know, like Kenny Clark, amazing 3-tech. He's good at 2-gap, and Kenny Clark is still amazing, but you want to put him in the best position to succeed. Devontae Wyatt, great 3-tech. 1-gap, go forward. Not a good 2-gap player. And it's just that down the line. I am tired of seeing Preston Smith walked out over Justin Jefferson. Let's nip that in the bud. Let's get that out of here. We're not doing that anymore. Let him put his hand in the dirt and rush the passer because he has 270 freaking pounds.
Yeah.
Rashawn Gary is going to be really good again this year. I'm cautiously optimistic for another year of Quay Walker in this defense. I think he could be another really good piece. He is coming along. He's coming along really well. But the DB group is really fun, real versatile. Javon Bullard, rookie out of Georgia, getting those starting snaps opposite of McKinney. So I'm really excited to see that. But yeah, man, this offense might be one of them ones this year. Mm-hmm. But I am not picking them to win the NFC North.
That's okay.
Detroit freaking Lions. I am such a believer in what they did, what they have done, what they are building, what they are going to do. And it starts up front, man. That offensive line is going to kick ass. Like, again, you lose Jonah Jackson, but bring in Kevin Zeitler. Like, it's it's a 1-to-1 replacement. You retain almost everybody else. You know, the offensive core still remains intact. I am curious if Jameson Williams actually becomes the Jameson Williams we were expecting.
Yeah, I feel like we've been saying that for like 2 years now, and hopefully this is finally the year where he does it.
Yeah, they need that in this offense. They need someone on the outside to kind of open up those areas for Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Donovan Peoples-Jones, gone from team, also didn't cut it. Josh Reynolds, very quietly, that was a big piece to lose because he was able to do that while Jameson Williams was inconsistent. Defensively, they're going to play a lot of man coverage, and I think they actually have the personnel to finally do it. They knew they needed corners, so they went out and added Carlton Davis via trade. You draft Terry and Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. Ennis Rakestraw is good. Mm-hmm. Like, he fits the Detroit Lions. He is a Dan Campbell corner. He is physical. He's not going to give up he's not going to give up on the catch or after the catch. I think he is quick enough to withstand like the long speed of receivers on the outside. They have so many fun and versatile players. Brian Branch is going to be huge once again. And they might be able to actually get pass rush now with Lee McNeil coming along well and Aiden Hutchinson also developing quickly. I'm in on this Detroit Lions team.
Detroit is very fun, and that won't be the last time that we talk about them. The NFC East is so dysfunctional, isn't it? Like I
It's
feel
weird.
like it's very weird. It's very weird. I think the Commanders, I think the Giants are going to be the worst team in football. I'll get that out of the way right now. I think the Commanders have an opportunity to be fun, but I don't think they're going to be a playoff threat. So it feels like a two-team race with Philadelphia and Dallas. I just think there's been too much. Really, there's been a lot of noise from Philadelphia and Dallas both. I just think it's been more negative noise with Dallas and just wondering, okay, what's next for Dak? Is Mike McCarthy basically just a lame duck coach? So I'm going to pick Philadelphia. I just think that talent-wise, they'll overcome whatever negativity's there. Adding Saquon Barkley to that offense, losing Jason Kelce will be big, but I think they drafted well, which isn't a shock to anybody. They needed corners, and they went out and got Quinion Mitchell. They drafted Cooper DeJean as well to put on the back end. All those Georgia kids that they drafted up front are, I think, going to continue to come along well. So, and they also took care of everybody. They, paid AJ Brown, they paid Devonta Smith. So I think that Philadelphia will bounce back and win the division. But if they're a one and done again, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they get rid of Nick Sirianni.
I struggle so much with picking this division, and I struggle with picking Philadelphia because I don't know if Kellen Moore is the best fit coordinator-wise.
We have seen like Kellen Moore over the past 2 years go from oh man, he's a prodigy to is he good? Like it's hilarious. Just
my biggest thing is he just runs a collection of plays and doesn't have an offense
without any sort of proof of concept.
Yeah, he runs whatever the head coach wants to run, which is fine, but you then have no identity. The biggest thing for me against the Eagles is I just don't know if this defense is going to gel quickly enough.
Right.
I have a lot of hope for the Georgia kids. A lot of them outside of Jalen Carter have not been good. So we have to we need some proof this year. We need to prove it this year. I don't know if their linebackers are still very good in coverage. Devin White and I think is it Caden Ellis?
Yeah, is that the guy they brought over from the Saints or Falcons? One of the NFC South teams.
I don't know if it's Caden Ellis. I think it might be Caden Ellis. I know it's an Ellis. And
the Ellis is spelled weird. There's two S's.
It's not. Zach Bond.
Oh, okay. We're both wrong. Cool.
Okay, Zach Bond. But he did play for the Saints. So I was in right there. But yeah, I just wonder if they will actually be able to affect the passing game as well as they did in their run to the Super Bowl, and then offensively, losing Jason Kelce is the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. But I think, again, with bringing in new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, I think Saquon's going to have a huge year because one thing Kellen Moore always does is get his running backs involved.
Yeah.
And Saquon will – I think the hope for the Eagles is Saquon is their Christian McCaffrey, where they involve him in the run game and the passing game. I can see this offense absolutely taking off, but I don't know if Kellen Moore is any good. That is the big. Sure. That's the big thing. But I'm still going to choose the Eagles because I think there are more unknowns in Dallas than there are in Philadelphia. And it starts who's playing linebacker. DeMarvion Overshawn might be a breakout player, but you brought in Eric Kendricks. Good luck with that. Their DB room very quickly gotten very thin. Trayvon Diggs coming off an ACL injury. Ron Bland, plantar fascia in his foot, won't be back for 8 weeks. Outside of that, good luck. You are playing with fire, especially in a division where you have to face AJ Brown and Devonta Smith each week. Or you have to face the Cliff Kingsbury bullshit air raid. Or you have to face whatever the Giants do. I'm not really worried about the Giants. But the passing game for the Cowboys, especially in the secondary, I'm a little concerned about. And then offensively, they're going to have CeeDee Lamb. But the biggest problem with them last year offensively was CeeDee Lamb needed help. It was only CeeDee Lamb. Who are they going to throw the ball to?
Yeah, you know? I mean, Brandon Cooks had a few games where he would pop off, but I mean, that took a while and it was few and far between. So,
also, they're taking running backs don't matter to a far extreme that I don't think is going to
for sure, bro. They have the best running back room of 2017.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. They're going to need some semblance of a run game. I think Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe have been awesome again. Like they hit it out the park again with offensive linemen, but I don't know if their running backs are good enough.
Yeah,
you know. So I'm gonna pick Philly, but I would not be surprised if Dallas wins this division.
All right, I will pick Atlanta in the South. It's kind of a chalk answer, but it's one that like I should feel a little bit more confident in, but the first month of their schedule sucks, bro. Like they got Pittsburgh week 1, but then they got Kansas City and Philadelphia back to back off that. So like, good luck. Overall, though, I mean the offense should be a lot better. You know, you bring in Kirk to distribute the ball to Pitts, and you still got Bijan, Drake London. They bring over Rondale Moore. I think Rondale Moore got hurt though, didn't he? I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
But regardless, the offense should be better. Bringing in Matt Judon and Justin Simmons back to back, I think that was smart team building to make the defense better. So I'll take Atlanta. I think that they'll be better than the Bucks. I'm not worried about the Panthers this year, at least, and I think the Saints are going to just. I know a lot of people, at least some people, are saying, "Oh, they're not." I was talking to Aaron Schatz. He's like, I don't think they're bad. I think they're just boring. I think they're bad and boring. I think that they're just not fun at all, and I don't want to watch them or talk about them. They don't make me happy. So I'm going to take the Falcons. And I don't feel all that confident about it, but the rest of that division doesn't really scare me outside of Tampa. And even I think losing Dave Canales will be a bigger loss than originally realized. I don't know if I believe in Todd Bowles too much as a head coach either. So I'm going to take Atlanta. And if that is the case, I think Raheem Morris might have a case to be coach of the year.
I'm also going to take Atlanta, but I do think this division is going to be a lot closer. I think Tampa is still very good. I think Todd Bowles can coach up a defense. He will get that defense playing really well. I'm a big believer in Liam Cohen and coming back to the NFL. I think he will give Baker Mayfield some of that structure that he has seen from the McVay and Shanahan guys that he worked really well under. I'm still picking Atlanta because I think the defense can be good. Maybe trading for Matt Judon and signing Justin Simmons, obviously the two biggest things. I think having Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates makes an incredibly versatile safety duo that will really work well in Raheem Morris's defense, which is very similar to what he did with the Rams. A lot of light boxes. They're gonna scheme up a lot of pressures. They're gonna run a lot of games. And Matthew Judon is the perfect guy to run games for. He is your perfect 3-4 Sam linebacker. Right. He's gonna be mean as hell against the run, and then he can dent and crush pockets on loops and stunts, and that'll work well with Grady Jarrett, who you can scheme up pass rush games for as well. I still need to see it, though. Still need to see that defense in execution. I'm actually a big believer in their offense. I think Drake London's going to have a huge year. But the big question is if Kirk Cousins is going to be what we think Kirk Cousins was at 36 coming off an Achilles injury.
Right.
That's still a very valid question. As good as I think Kirk Cousins was last year, it's a valid question. But I'm going to still choose Atlanta.
I agree. All right, before we get to the NFC West, I'm going to grab my computer charger. So we're going to take a quick 30-second break. We'll be right back. All right, now to the NFC West. I see a lot of people that are kind of being, I don't want to say hipsters with it because, there's a lot of people that seem to like the Rams a lot this year. And there's been a lot of noise regarding the 49ers and taking forever to pay Brandon Ayuk. to which you were very kind to mock me once that didn't go my way as a Steelers fan. Thank you for that. Trent Williams, though, they just got that rework today, so it looks like he's all systems go there as well. So, yeah, basically just kind of running this thing back roster-wise, and I still think that they're the best overall team in that division, so I'm still going to pick them to win the division. But I think that they will tie with the Rams in wins, but it'll come down to a tiebreaker, which they will win.
Yeah, I think this is the year where we finally start to see a little bit of that window close.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is that defense is probably not going to be as good as this has been in previous years. I am a large believer in if you want to stop the run, you need an actual nose tackle. They do not have an actual nose tackle. They have two three techs, So I would like to see them stop the run a little better. I think adding Hufanga back from injury will help that passing game out a lot more. But we're gonna start to see a little bit of regression from that defense. Not too worried about the offense. Ayuk and Trent Williams are back. They should be fine.
Yeah.
I think I'm still gonna pick them to win the division, but again, it's gonna be real close because I think despite what people think about the other two teams in this division, they will both be very competitive.
I agree. My first wild card team is the Lions. I know you touched a lot on them. I can basically just copy and paste what you said about them, and that's all the things that I love about them. I think offensively, they are the perfect blend and the perfect example of what a true balanced, just kick your ass offense looks like. They had damn near 2,000-yard running backs last year. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is like 70 yards away from being a 1,000-yard rusher, and Goff threw for over 4,500 yards. So they were just killing you in every aspect of the game. They're one of the best offenses in football. And who's to say that they will slow down whatsoever? I mean, they're basically running it back as well with their entire crew, and they got better defensively. So won't be surprised at all if we find them back in the NFC title game. I think it'd be pretty cool to see a Packers-Lions NFC Championship game. Sign me up for that. I think that they're going to be great. Wouldn't be surprised to see them playing deep into January again.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Packers here for a lot of the same reasons that you said. I think they could be in contention to have the best offense in the NFL statistically. Mm-hmm. The only reason I'm having them in the wild card instead of winning the division is while I do enjoy what the defense has built and what they are building, it could take a little minute to gel, especially as you transition from a defense that was a lot two-gap, very reactionary to in a more attacking one-gap style. It might take a little bit. It might take some time.
That's fine.
But I think Jordan Love and that offense are going to put up a lot of points.
I agree. My number 6 seed in the NFC West is the Rams. Again, I think that the 49ers and Rams, it would be I think it's likely that they'll both finish with 11 wins. Tiebreaker would go to the 49ers for whatever division record or head-to-head stuff. Everything that McVay and the offense did a year ago was very fun. I know that you were a big fan of seeing them really lean more into the run game, the power run game. I do have questions defensively a little bit, though, because, you don't have Aaron Donald, and then you trade away Ernest Jones. Didn't make a whole lot of sense to me there. And obviously, Raheem Morris is not the head coach in Atlanta. So I think that they'll take a little bit of a step back there. I do like a couple of their additions, bringing in Cam Curl and Tre'Davious White on the back end. But they had a lot of young guys step up last year in a lot of places that not a lot of people expected to see them do well. So I think that the Rams will be right back in the thick of things as long as Matthew Stafford stays healthy for a full 17 games. If he would have done that last year, I think they would have probably won 11 games. So have them as my number 6 seed with an 11-6 record.
I am also going to pick the Rams here. I think for a lot of the same reasons you said, they have you and I out there on defense. I really hope they're able to generate some pass rush, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be able to, but adding Jared Verse and Brandon Fish might be able to help that a lot. They didn't play in the preseason, but I expect that to be a lot better. Like you said, I love what Sean McVay has morphed this offense into and the continuous change and staying ahead of the curve offensively for Sean McVay on this Rams offense. I think they're going to lean more into the power run game, a lot of the heavier personnel. I think by adding Blake Corum, I think you're going to see a lot of Blake Corum early. I do have a little bit of questions about their receiver group. I think Cooper Kupp at this point is aging gracefully into wide receiver 2. And as much as I love Puka Nacua, they need somebody who can get downfield in a hurry.
Yeah.
And I think they need that to open up a little bit more of the offense, and they don't really have that. Tutu Atwell is not a real person. So I still think the Rams are going to be good, but I think their flaws defensively aren't going to be able to be masked as much.
I could see something happening at like the deadline where Les Snead goes back into the bag of tricks and like trades for Devontae Adams or something. I think that would be right up the old Les Snead alleyway.
That'd be hilarious, considering that they just got some first round picks, and then they're like, "Yeah,
they just say to hell with it. I don't want these."
Like that sucked. We had to do work. We had to actually pay attention on Thursday. No, give me all of your good players.
I think that'd be funny. I would be very happy about it. Or hell, I don't think that they would do it, but maybe they're like, all right, we will give you our next 4 first-round picks if you give us Max Crosby. What do you say?
That would be hilarious as well, because again, like, all right, you're going all in for the playoffs, for winning a Super Bowl with Max Crosby and Jared Verse and us playing in the secondary.
Yep. Can't wait. My number 7 team. I don't want it to feel like I'm drinking Kool-Aid or anything like that, but I do think this team has a chance to be pretty fun and sneak into the playoffs. I am going to pick the Chicago Bears. I think that, and it's not just off of Caleb making a really cool throw in the preseason and doing, a backpedal like he's MJ after he just drilled a 3 in somebody's face. But there's something there. And I think offensively with what he's coming into, I think that Ryan Poles very much saw what the previous regime did when Justin Fields came in and said, I'm not going to do that to this guy. I'm going to give him all the weapons I possibly can. We're going to take advantage of the fact that he's on a cheap deal and just try to give him as much as we can. So you trade for Keenan Allen to be that power slot guy. You bring in Rome Odunze to complement DJ Moore. And then defensively, I love Montez Sweat as an edge rusher. I think they need another one, though. I think that Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, that's a really good secondary, really slept on secondary. Jaquan Brisker has a chance to be a really fun safety. So I like Chicago. I think overall this is going to be a fun team to watch throughout the year. And as long as Caleb can grasp the Shane Waldron offense quickly and become a solid starting quarterback as a rookie, which I think he can, I think they'll be a playoff team.
Yeah, call me basic. I am going to choose the Dallas Cowboys.
That's fine. It's fine.
As much as this offseason has been, this has been an offseason, certainly one of the offseasons.
One of the offseasons of all time.
One of the offseasons of all time for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott is still very good at football.
He is.
CeeDee Lamb is still very good at football. That defensive line still might be very good at football. That Mike Parsons guy still going to be really good, and he is going to be unleashed with Mike Zimmer pulling the strings. I think if they can get just something out of their secondary, then yeah, they can sneak into the back end of the playoffs as a 7 seed. I really want to choose Chicago, but it came down to, at the end of the day, I love Caleb Williams, but I'm going to choose the established quarterback because, again, as much as we love Caleb Williams, he is still a rookie. There's going to be some rookie moments in there. So it's a toss-up. It's very close, but I'm going to choose the Cowboys.
I respect it. It makes sense. All right, so my playoff picture in the NFC is Green Bay 1, the 49ers 2, Eagles 3, Falcons 4, and then the wild card is Lions 5. Where's my number 6? The Rams 6, and the Bears 7.
So I'm going to go Detroit 1, San Francisco 2. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles 3, and then Atlanta 4, although I could see Philly and Atlanta being switched. Like that, I can see that bumping. 5, I'm going to go with Green Bay Packers. 6 is the Rams, and then 7 is Cowboys.
Good stuff all around. All right, that's enough of that football talk. Let's draft.
Exactly.
All right, so, and again, like I said at the start of the show, every time JP and I do a show together, we draft something. This started at Thanksgiving when he scolded me for not having mac and cheese at Thanksgiving, and he demanded that we do something. So today we're going to be doing cartoons. So there's a lot of them. Are we going to include adult animation? Or are we?
I feel like we have to.
Okay.
So this is just all animation.
Okay, so that's fine.
That's what we'll do.
Okay, you can start.
My first pick is SpongeBob.
Classic. I mean, yeah.
I'm taking the Hall of Fame left tackle early. What else can you say about SpongeBob?
It's so the Walter Jones of this draft.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and knock that out. The obvious pick.
That's good. That's good. All right, I think I'm gonna take just like the Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm gonna take Scooby-Doo.
Ooh, okay. That's a good one.
There's just so many iterations of it, and it never gets old. You just throw it on repeat. It's just great all around. Yeah.
Every version of Scooby-Doo is always good.
It's always good.
Like,
it's always good.
Different voice actors, different animation styles, different eras. It's always going to be good. So
absolutely.
I can appreciate it.
Do you have a favorite Scooby-Doo movie?
Ooh, I can't remember what the name of it was, but I think it was one with a rock band in it.
Kiss? Is it the Kiss one?
I think it was Kiss.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, that's fair.
All right. My second pick, we're going to dip into the adult animation.
Okay.
I'm going to go King of the Hill.
Matt, at 2.
I love King of the Hill. I think it's so fun. I think it's so funny. I think there's moments of genuine heartwarmingness, and then like every character has their own quirk that makes them so funny in their own individual way.
Yeah.
And also being Southern, like I can't help but not like King of the Hill.
There's one episode where Hank tries to talk Bill into a hot dog eating contest, and Bill's like tapped out. He's, dude, I can't do it anymore. And Hank's pushing him, but he stops. He's like, oh, damn it, Bill. We already have great toilets, the Constitution, and 2 George Bushes. What else does America need? Every time I see that, dude, I howl. It's so funny.
The quotes are so funny. Boomhauer might be the funniest person in the show. I showed it to my girlfriend who had never seen King of the Hill, and she was hooked.
It's a good show. It's a good show. And Dale is obviously like one of the better characters in like adult animation. It's a great show. You know what? I was about to like wonder why you picked it at 2, but you've talked me into it. That's good. I'm also going to go the adult animation realm here. I'm going to take South Park. I think that South Park is... I've never seen an episode of South Park that hasn't made me like belly laugh at least once. So it's just overall great. I think the episodes where like, I think that Trey and Matt have actually talked about this. Like the episode where they, like the kids are just doing like kid stuff is like their favorite things. Like the Lord of the Rings episode, great, classic, awesome. The World of Warcraft ones, hilarious. So yeah, South Park's great. Still going strong 26 years later.
Can I say something without everybody getting mad at me?
If you're going to say you don't like South Park, I'm going to look at you differently.
I don't like South Park.
Wow, bruv.
It's not funny to me. Like,
brother.
Some of it's not funny. And the main reason is like some of the jokes, like, yeah, they might have been cool in like 2004. But like
I think that's kind of the point though.
I know it's kind of the point, but that's why I'm like, I don't really.
All right.
It's not my thing. I can respect the people that like it. It's just not my thing.
That's fine. All right, fine. Who's your third?
All right, we're gonna go chalky once again and pick The Simpsons.
Can I say something without everybody getting mad?
I understand. I completely understand. I love the animation in the world that they have built. And it's one of the most popular shows ever. It's still going, which is an incredible testament to how good the show is. So I'm picking The Simpsons here.
Everything that you said about South Park, almost to a T, is how I feel about it. I just don't find it funny. It doesn't do anything for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I also think I follow the Simpsons wrestling memes account.
Those are good. Those are good.
Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I remember that Simpsons episode.
I don't know if I could. I've seen maybe like 5 episodes of The Simpsons, maybe somewhere in there. That I can remember at least. All right, I'm debating if I want to keep going adult animation or if I want to go like back to the classics here. I know what number 5 is going to be if you don't take it. It's just going to be a personal favorite of mine. So I'll take Tom and Jerry.
Okay, that's another classic.
There's nothing like watching like an episode of Tom and Jerry from like 1942, and they're just beating the holy hell out of each other. Like the funny Tom screams, those are always that'll always warrant a good hearty laugh from me. So, Tom and Jerry, cartoon violence, shout out.
Holds a special place in the heart. You know, you always
For
remember
sure.
if you like got out of school early because you were sick or something, and outside of watching like Judge Mathis because it was only on at like noon because you got out of school, Tom and Jerry was on, and you could always sit back and watch that while you were recovering from a cold.
Did you have Boomerang as a kid?
I think we did. I just didn't watch a lot of it. It would come on like so every Saturday morning. My dad would take me and my brothers to the barbershop, go get a haircut, and every day it'd be like either like Disney Channel or Boomerang on, and then
That's
at like
rad.
9 a.m. they would switch to College Game Day, and
Oh man,
thus created a core memory for the rest
that's
of my
sick.
life. Going to the barbershop, watching cartoons, and then watching college football.
That's a good dad. That's a very good all around.
All right, I'm up with number 4, correct?
Yes, you are.
Number 4, I'm gonna pick a personal favorite, Phineas and Ferb.
That's a good shout. Yeah.
I love Phineas and Ferb. In my opinion, it is the best animated show, and it blends so much good stuff about being a child, and like yeah, it's the summer. What do you want to do? Like, let's go build a roller coaster or something. It's all the ideas of what you want to do as a kid, just put into a TV show. And they never had bad episodes. There's never been an episode that I didn't like. There's never been a song in the show that I didn't like. It's just created such a fun show. And I remember watching it with my brothers and sisters. And so that's again another personal pick, but I'm taking Phineas and Ferb 4.
Phineas and Ferb's a good shout. Yeah, no bad episodes. Theme song's a banger. A lot of the songs that they do in the show are really good. I think that's a good pick overall. All right. I'm down to a few, and I might as well take this one because I think I know what I'm going to pick at 5. I'm trying to think if there's like one I'm forgetting, though, like a really obvious one that I'm going to feel dumb about not taking, but I don't think there really is. So I'm going to take Family Guy as just like, I like Family Guy and it makes me laugh, and it's kind of a chalk pick, but getting it in the 4th round, I feel pretty good about it. So
I'll say something that people are going to get mad at me
about.
Wow. I knew it. Like I will say this. I think Family Guy has made me laugh more than South Park.
All right. I guess I'll take that.
Still, like I think I will gravitate towards King of the Hill over Family Guy. Although they're kind of like, I think I'd gravitate towards American Dad more than Family Guy. I don't know.
I've had people say that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a solid show. I'm not saying like I hate it, but again, not my preference.
Sure. All right, that's fine.
All right. I knew I'd save this pick for 5 because I didn't think you would think of it. And now I just thought of it, and I should have picked it at 1. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Can I say something without people getting mad at me?
Oh, no.
I was never into Avatar, man.
Oh, God.
Man, I tried to be. I had a lot of friends in like 2nd, 3rd grade who fucking love Avatar, and I tried. I was like,
I freaking love that show, man. It is a great story about just redemption, and the character building throughout the show is incredible. The fights are awesome. And again, Uncle Iroh is one of the most well-written characters in animation. Freaking love that old guy. Like, that is a guy I would want to have some tea with. I would sip a tea with Uncle Iroh. So I love the show. It's so bingeable too. I binged it. Of course I watched it as a kid, but I binged it last year. It's still so incredibly rewatchable.
I can't believe I didn't take this with number 1 because it is. I knew 1 was going to slip my mind. It's on like. No one can compete with it as the greatest cartoon of all time. And it's Batman the Animated Series is the greatest cartoon of all time.
That one.
Dude, I don't know. You've seen just tons of Batman decor, and it completely slipped my mind. I don't know how that happened.
Can we get a UDFA? Because I have
Oh, absolutely, yeah. As always, yeah. There's a lot that
UDFA. I know that not a lot of people are going to pick it, but again, my personal favorite theme song kicks ass. Ben 10.
Ben 10 ruled. I'll give you that.
Love Ben 10. Just that era of Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Just incredible theme songs and nostalgic shows that everybody's going to remember.
All right. I think my priority UDFA is going to be Beavis and Butthead.
Let me just say, that's the most youth thing that I have heard.
Dude, Beavis and
Butthead.
If I could redo it, I would probably take them over South Park, honestly, because I like that more than I like South Park. It is so just brain dead TV, and you don't have to. You just sit there and laugh at the stupidity of it. Both Do America and Do the Universe, hilarious movies. Yeah, it's just turn your brain off and laugh at just the stupidity that is before you. It's great. All around awesome.
Noise. Great ambient noise. Because there's going to be a moment where like, oh, what did that happen?
Yeah. It's just that's all I hear in my sleep now. It's just Butthead. That's all I hear. Another good shout. Danny Phantom.
Yep.
Teen Titans. Teen Titans ruled. Yeah. Justice League Unlimited. Another good one. I really enjoyed. JLU was good. There's Johnny Bravo. I almost took Johnny Bravo.
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack was all right.
Love the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Also, really good theme song.
Mojo Jojo's ass. They on his ass every time. Ooh, I was just thinking of another one. I didn't really watch it because I don't really watch cartoons. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't really watch cartoons that make me sad, and then say I picked Avatar at 5. But BoJack Horseman,
that's
really good.
Bruv.
But yeah, I didn't watch it because, like, look,
dude,
I don't need to be thinking about life.
Nope.
Like watching a horse go about through his day to day.
Are you a Big Mouth guy?
No.
It
was just weird. There's some stuff that I can get past, but the animation is just bad. I don't
like the animation.
No.
Okay.
It's weird. Like it creeps me out a little bit. Like I'm like
season one of Big Mouth came out when I was a freshman in college, and just me and my best friend sitting in our dorm, just laughing our asses off is a core memory. None of us picked Jimmy Neutron. I noticed that.
Really good one. I stayed away from doing anime, but if I did, I would say Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, like I'm not an anime guy, but I know that's pretty popular.
Cartoons only, but if I were picking any anime, I pick Dragon Ball Z. Like it's just become such an integral part of American culture,
right?
And like everybody knows what Kamehameha is. Like everybody knows that.
With the exception of this guy, I guess. I'm sorry.
We're gonna have to get you to watch Dragon Ball Z.
I mean, good luck. Well, we'll see how far that
is priority homework for you, brother.
I'll watch that if you start watching Love Island.
I actually did.
Did you?
Yeah. So it was not recently, but during the pandemic, I watched the U.S. Love Island.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, it's chaotic. Like it's fun. Like it's fun, brainless show. My girlfriend and I started watching Big Brother.
I haven't watched that.
I'm surprised that I'm so hooked to Big Brother, but I can't stop watching. Like it's so weird, but also like some of the competitions are really fun, and a lot of people be real messy on the show.
All right. I'll keep that in mind. What have you got coming work-wise on SB Nation?
Well, today I just had a story go up called The College Catch-Up. It's a column that I'm hoping to get pushed off the ground at SB Nation about everything you missed during the week of college football and some NFL draft nuggets in there. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. Establish the Fun Season 3 is back. We are coming back again, better than ever. And this year we're doing it again on Fridays. Make sure you look out for it. And outside of that, just follow along for the NFL season, college football season. I will be writing about the draft, college football, NFL, anywhere where there is football being played. I'm probably going to be there.
Lovely, lovely stuff all around. In terms of me, picked every game on the NFL slate. Give you a little bit of a taste of that right now, obviously. The full picks, all the records and stuff will come out, if not later today, tomorrow morning. And then go read all the deep dives of the Bills, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, did a piece on the Ravens. So all of that, follow me on Twitter, @JBaileyNFL. JP, always enjoy doing this with you, buddy. Have a fun weekend of... Yeah, week 1. We got football. It's going to be great.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here. Good stuff all around. Everybody, if you're watching this on YouTube and not already subscribed, do that. Leave a review if you're listening to it as a podcast, but don't say anything mean because I read all of them. And if you say mean things, then I'll probably cry. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks, JP. We'll see y'all soon.